Hello, everyone. My name is Danny the Two, and today I'm going to be talking about human moments. I'm kind of excited about this one because I'm recording it very late at night. I am very introspective and I am kind of going in blind, but I've got a couple of ideas I want to throw out there. So I'm kind of excited to see if this episode is something that works because I'm not drunk. I've never had any alcohol or anything like that, but I'm tired at the moment and kind of intentionally because I just want to see how raw I can be, how naturally raw I can be. You guys are just gonna have to take me raw. I'm not gonna keep that in. You know what? Fuck it. I'm leaving it in. Today, we're going to be reading an article from Psychology Today, and I hope you guys know where to find the link. Say it with me. The description. No, silly. Say it with me. The show. Come on, you got it. Show notes. Good job. The show notes. Link is in the show notes. So, once again, I'd like to thank everybody who is listening to this on Wednesday, the Wednesday that it comes out. I mean, you get 10 brownie points if you listen on the Wednesday it comes out. You get 5 brownie points if you listen on a Wednesday that's a different Wednesday than when it came out. And you only get 1 brownie point if you listen to it any other day of the week. So I hope you guys understand how important it is that you listen to it on Wednesday. So, with that being said, I'm just going to read this article. And my plan is I'm going to read this article all the way through. And I'm not going to give any comments on it. I'm not going to deviate from what the article says until the very end. So, I'm going to read this kind of a long article from front to back or top to bottom. And then I'm going to give my thoughts on it. So, let's go ahead and get started. This article was written, where's the author? There it is, by Hora Estroff Marano. Oh, Hera. I'm assuming that is a female name. Hera. I Googled Hera and it gave me I think what's a K-pop singer? Yeah, author. That is a woman. All right, that's a woman. Good to know. Hera. Shout out to K-pop singer Goo Hera. Hope you're doing well. So this was written by Hera Marano and Anna Yusim, published July 2nd, 2018. So this article starts off with a little bit of a slice of life type of a moment. So if you can safely do so, I would recommend that you close your eyes and just visualize everything. So you can kind of paint a picture in your story, paint a picture in your brain of the story. And that since this is all about human moments, I'd like to see if I can have a collective human moment of people visualizing the story to start off. So let's go ahead and hop into it. In the middle of a date, her first with Martin, Deirdre received an urgent phone call. Could she please do an immediate on-air radio interview? She had, after all, just written a well-received book about politics, and there had been big political news breaking all that week. Caught completely off guard, she agreed. She signaled to Martin that she had to take the call and move to an empty corner of the restaurant to speak. 15 minutes later, she looked up and saw that Martin was standing nearby, as if guarding the space. Had he been there all along? Had he heard the whole thing? Before an embarrassed Deirdre could muster an apology for the professional intrusion on what she had hoped would be a romantic interlude, it had taken them 2 weeks of chit-chatting to find an unhurried afternoon to meet face to face. Martin spoke up. Look, he said. I heard only your half of the conversation, but I thought you were terrific. I'm so sorry to have inflicted this on you, she stammered. No worry, he shot back. I expect great things of the people I hang around with. Picking up the phone in the middle of a date or any other meeting was not part of Deirdre's usual repertoire. And in retrospect, she isn't even sure why she chose to take the call. But the incident was revelatory, and more than 10 years into their relationship, it shines in her memory. In a totally unforeseeable moment, she got a dazzling glimpse of what Martin was made of. And what Martin was made of, besides quiet confidence, was an abundance of class, compassion, and kindness. In a word, character. There are moments so packed with meaning that they shimmer through time. Some inspire awe by exposing the splendor of nature. Some deliver a flash of insight to solve what seems to be an intractable problem. They are inherently transformative. They instantaneously expand awareness and alter one's sense of self. Psychologist Abraham Maslow coined the term peak experiences to suggest the inner magnificence of such rare and distinctive events. But there are also moments of great meaning that are more social in nature, that arise spontaneously in the space between people. Such moments can shed an illuminating light on the deepest dimensions of a person's being. Arriving unheralded, they may accurately reveal a person's strengths, expose vulnerabilities, unveil core convictions, divulge life values. They beget a profound state of knowing with searing speed. In an instant, Deirdre apprehended that Martin was trustworthy, on her side, already a teammate, looking out for her, protecting her interests. Instead of taking offense that Deirdre's work intruded on their personal time or feeling intimidated by her professional stature, he acted with generosity and took it upon himself to put her at ease, and she knew the information revealed was completely authentic. It came totally unscripted. Martin stepped into an opportunity that would never have existed had he not summoned the courage and kindness to carve it out. Such moments carry credibility precisely because they are not anticipated or prescribed. They are, however, transformative. With their mix of insight and intensity, they give life new direction, forever altering the connection people have with the other. Forever altering the connection that people have with each other, and often enough, with themselves. Of the various kinds of turning points life presents, the most powerful of all may be character-defining moments. They go to the heart of who we are. Character has not been having an especially good run lately. In short supply of the national political stage, it has long been out of favor in the very field of knowledge dedicated to delineating human nature. Overshadowed by flashier parts of personality, character has, to a large degree, been left to philosophers and theologians. Character is a subset of personality traits, but there is a long-standing neglect of character in personality psychology, says Jeffrey Goodwin, an associate professor of psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. That's been changing with the development of a new model of personality. For decades, psychologists have subscribed to a 5-factor model of personality, a product of research in which myriad personal characteristics seem to naturally cluster into 5 broad traits: openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, or the tendency to experience negative emotions and react poorly to stress. But in the early 2000s, Canadian psychologists Kibiam Lee and Michael Ashton identified a 6th major trait. They call it the H factor, for honesty, humility. 2 qualities that, their research shows, travel together. H factors, say Lee and Ashton in their 2012 book, The H Factor. Like other traits, character is seen as a disposition that drives a person to behave in constant ways, but its specific mission is to allow us to evaluate the world and other people, to judge them. Character has an inherently moral cast. There are some fuzzy borders between moral attributes and the personality traits of conscientiousness and agreeableness. But moral features extend beyond self-interests to interpersonal and societal interests. Contemporary psychology holds that the impressions we form of others are snapped together from quick estimations of 2 features, their warmth and their competence. But warmth is a nebulous notion, Goodwin says. And when he analyzed just what characteristics people identify behind warmth, he asked subjects to think of individuals they knew close up and those they knew from afar, such as George W. Bush and Barack Obama. He found that kindness, humility, compassion, fairness, gratitude, and empathy, they were the traits that most powerfully predicted the overall impressions subjects had of individuals. We can mistake social skills for character, observes Goodwin. We mistake the social for the prosocial. The strength of a person's character also determines how well he or she will follow through on plans, goals, commitments, and values, Goodwin reports, which may explain why his team found that obituaries are especially rich in information about character. When it comes to summing up a life, character counts most of all. It not only shapes a lifetime's worth of behavior, It's what we seek as others' legacy, why we even bother to read about them. Looking at moral character from the inside, Cohen sees two additional components besides one's identity as a good or not so good person. There's a motivational element, the desire to do good and avoid doing harm, which does the heavy lifting in treating others fairly. It's required not only for regulating close relationships, but also for sustaining living in any size group. Here's where it gets interesting. Moral character is not a passive trait. Character actually steers people into some situations, out of others, Cohen finds. Those with high moral character especially avoid environments that could lead to others being harmed, but they do more. They even shape situations. Martin might be Exhibit A. Instead of brooding about a date gone off track, he saw an opportunity to facilitate Deirdre's various goals and allay her concerns about disappointing him. When the unforeseen erupted in Deirdre's and Martin's date, Martin saw an array of choices nobody else might have even noticed. There were so many of them, and that she was the beneficiary of them all, and all at once, ultimately made their meeting highly memorable for her. First off, engage or disengage. Had Martin focused on feeling marginalized or minimized by the interview interruption, he could have reacted with annoyance and cut his losses quickly. But overriding any immediate discomfort, he was able to hold onto his interest in a long-term relationship and see possibility in Deirdre. Tend to his needs or hers. See the interview as an opportunity to gather information about Deirdre or as dead time. Recognize her discomfort or not. Remedy it or ignore it. Help or stay uninvolved. Speak up or say nothing. Offer support, encouragement, even admiration, or let the moment pass. Everything that unfolded inspired Deirdre's trust in Martin. Instantly, he placed himself squarely on her team. He was already acting as a partner, and was looking after her interests when there was no certain payoff for doing so. Trust has to be well placed, invested only in those who are trustworthy, not someone who might exploit one's confidences. That's why, Cohen finds, we are most likely to place our trust in those who show competence, benevolence, and integrity. Trust, researchers know, is what creates the willingness to be vulnerable in social interactions. It is the single most important ingredient in rewarding and healthy relationships. Transformational moments sit somewhere in the boundary between logic and emotion. Research on psychotherapy shows that insight alone, no matter how brilliant, rarely leads to profound and sustainable behavioral change if it is not accompanied by some level of emotional understanding. For Deirdre, the experience was loaded with the emotionality even before Martin arrived. Weeks of correspondence and banter had raised her hopes that she was about to meet a person worthy of her desires. The phone interruption, however, pitched everything into high emotional relief. The sudden anxiety about which opportunity to pursue, the professional or the romantic. The call's end brought a flash flood of embarrassment about its effect, until Martin acted. His behavior was totally spontaneous, not preordained, but the ground was prepared for its high impact. Like other peak moments, those that illuminate character admit to no game plan. Surprise is part of their power. It also guarantees that they are untainted by egotistic concerns. The disequilibrium such moments create leaves the self undefended. They are memorable not just for the insights they deliver with great impact, but also for their psychic purity. Rare openings in time, character-defining moments are transformative because they guide us into the future. They distill the complexities of life, and the crystalline reliability of the information revealed allows us to make strong inferences about what we can expect ahead from the people in our lives. All right, that is the end of the article. I feel weird. After reading that article and taking my own advice at the beginning and just picturing it and just kind of feeling it, I value that human moment so much. I think back to moments that define my character, moments that define my girlfriend's character, moments that define my family's character, moments that define my friend's character. There are human moments scattered around in our lives, and those moments are just so impactful. These individual moments or groups of seconds can mean so much to somebody who really values relationships and human connection over everything else. This is amazing news. It feels amazing to be able to have a moment like this. to be able to have a human connection moment where nobody's faking anything. It's not I'm a salesperson and I'm trying to get you to purchase this thing. It's not I'm an entertainer and my goal is to keep you around so I get more money. It's not I'm going to be nice to you because I want to have sex with you. It's not I want money from you so I'm going to pretend to be your friend. It's I'm a human. I am scared sometimes. I'm lost sometimes. And because of that, I know how to be compassionate and I know what it feels like to be hurt. So I'm just going to treat you like a human and you're going to treat me like a human. And we're going to have a moment where we break apart from all of the ebb and flow of this world that's just automated and robotic and moving way too quickly. And it's like time slows down. And I'm looking at you and you're looking at me. And we're having a human moment. Together, we're sharing in that moment. We are sharing that emotion and that brain space for just a moment where we're taken out of everything and we can truly have a human connection. That's something that is very rare these days. It takes a lot to be able to have a human connection with someone. They're very rare in my experience. I don't have them very often. But whenever I do, I have this sort of a childlike wonder where I say, holy crap, I just had a moment of human connection. I had a human moment. I am human. That just takes me back and it reminds me of who I am and what I'm doing here and why I behave the way I do. It's because I'm a human. I am a person who was placed on earth and given a life. And throughout this experience of my life, I have met so many people and I have done so many things and I have walked so many roads and I've had so many conversations and I found myself looking and admiring so many things and I found myself hating and feeling disdain for so many things. I have felt so many things. I've seen so many things. And it's all because I'm human. And I become so numb to that sometimes that having a human moment is just so special because it takes me back. I don't want to keep going around in circles, but it takes me back. It makes me self-aware. I'm not just doing things robotically. I lift my left hand and I look at it and I admire it and I see the lines on it. I flip it over and I see my fingernails in the back of my hand. I look at my right hand. I'm conscious of every movement that I make. I'm not just moving out of habits or instincts. I'm moving because I'm choosing to, because my brain works. And I am a functional human who makes choices and feels things. And that is the only thing we have in life. And we cannot forget that. If we forget it, everything will go to waste. We'll be on our deathbed and we'll think, man, I wish I had more money. I wish I had more fun. I wish I had more time. But if you have these moments where everything is worth it and you're self-aware and you can just pull these emotions out from the world around you and let them personally impact you, then you can truly have a human moment. So with that being said, that's a wrap.